Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a big update in regards to Melissa Benoist's next project. This is coming from TV Line, so if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. So post-Supergirl, we've been waiting for this project to land. This is in fact The Girls on the Bus, which is coming to HBO Max. We talked about it quite a bit. It's the first project that Melissa is doing post Supergirl. Obviously, she's been involved in some animated shows with Kevin Smith. That is something that's coming out very soon but hasn't been released. So there's not been too much that she's been involved with, despite Supergirl ending in 2021, I believe it was. So it's been literally over 2 years now. But finally, we have an update on when her next project is going to be released. And so, as I said, this is coming from TV Line. Link will be in the description below so you can go ahead and read the article. The title of the article is The Girls on the Bus starring Melissa Benoist gets a Max release update. And this is how the article goes. The long gestating series will premiere on Max this March, TV Line has learned. A precise release date has not yet been set, but it's finally coming out. As we've been saying, this has been something that she's worked on for a long time. They finished filming it a while ago, maybe even over a year ago from now. And so it's just been a question of when is this coming out. We did hear a while back that it would be releasing in 2024, sometime early 2024. So this March release date makes a lot of sense. So before we get into breaking it down, let's keep going with this article. So the comedic drama is inspired by a chapter in the book Chasing Hillary, which was based on the author's time covering Hillary Clinton in 2016. But in The Girls on the Bus, Supergirl veteran Melissa Benoist plays Sadie McCarthy, a journalist who romanticizes the original Boys on the Bus and who scrapped her whole life for her own shot of covering a presidential campaign for the paper of record. So that's kind of the story. She's, this kind of budding reporter, I guess, and she wants to be involved in politics, and that's because of her influence reading this book. And so joining Benoist on the Max series is Carla Gugino from The Fall of the House of Usher and The Haunting of Hill House, and Natasha Benham from Mayans, never seen her before, but another series regular on the show is Christina Elmore from Insecure, and also Brandon Scott from 13 Reasons Why, plus some recurring characters. Scott Foley is in it, and then also Tala Ash is in it from Legends of Tomorrow. So that's something that I actually didn't know, but that is very exciting. So that is a reunion between Melissa and Tala because they both appeared in crossovers before together in the Arrowverse. And so it's great to see that they're going to be reuniting, even though they weren't ever the biggest thing on screen in the Arrowverse, but that's pretty cool. So that's like just something that I just found out. And then Griffin Dunn from This Is Us is going to be recurring in the show, and Tala Ash is going to be playing an offbeat yet accessible progressive who is one of the reporter's clear favorites on the campaign trail. So they're both going to be pretty involved, and the series was developed by Chozik and Julie Plec, both of whom executive produced alongside showrunner Rena Mimon, as well as Greg Berlanti and Sarah Schechter, two Arrowverse and Berlanti OGs. So this is all under Berlanti Productions. So it's still kind of in that same realm of what we have with the Arrowverse because this is Berlanti Productions. Sarah Schechter was one of the showrunners at various points on Supergirl, so she's heavily involved with Melissa in the past. I actually interviewed both of them at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, so she's involved in producing this, and Greg Berlanti is there as an executive producer, as always, just like the Arrowverse shows, because it's under his production company. And so The Girls on the Bus has taken a rather meandering route to screen. It was first ordered by Netflix in 2019 before being picked up by the CW after it failed to move forward at the streamer. So it was going to be at the CW, and then now it's been moved to Max because the CW kind of went downhill, plus then Warner Brothers got really big into Max, and so that's when they moved it over with a straight to series order in 2022. So that just means that they made the whole of season 1, the whole of the show is done, it's ready to be released, and now it's finally coming out in March 2024. So what do you guys think of this? Are you excited to see this first post Supergirl project? And obviously it's still very much so a Greg Berlanti production, so we kind of know the tone already, but it's going to be on Max, not going to be on the CW, so it's going to be very different from the shows that we're used to. But let's move on to the next topic. This is staying in line, talking about Supergirl, because recently we heard the Supergirl casting news that there was 3 actresses who are currently testing to play Supergirl in the DCU in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but also to show up in Superman Legacy. And so those actors are Millie Alcott from House of the Dragon, Emilia Jones from Coda, the Best Picture winner, and then also Meg Donnelly, who has most recently been playing Supergirl in the animated films. And so you saw her in Supergirl Legion of Superheroes, that recent animated film, but also in Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, and she's going to be in Part 2 as well. So a lot of people have been saying that they would like to see Meg translated onto live action because she's played Supergirl already. She's currently playing her as a animated version of Supergirl. And so people were saying this would be great. And now we've got an interview with comicbookmovie.com, reading off of this from cbr.com. Link will be in the description below. But the Crisis on Infinite Earths team threw their full support behind both potential castings, with executive producer Jim Krieg noting that, oh, she would be great. So would Jensen as well, as another possibility. But this is the full quote. "She would be great as the DCU Supergirl," said director Jeff Warmester. Sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, pointing out how impressive Donnelly had already proven herself to be with her debut role in 2023's Legion of Superheroes as Supergirl. As most of you guys have probably watched that film, you know she was pretty good as Supergirl. And so this is the next quote. "You know, when she was in Legion, she had that speech at the end with her mum, and we were both in the booth saying, oh my god, that was such a good performance." Krieg also added, "She had one movie to make you fall in love with Kara. You've got to care about Kara when you get to Crisis. That's why Legion exists, to introduce Kara, and also when do you get to see the Legion?" So her Supergirl is going to be a big thing going into these last few parts of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is obviously the film series going on. I'll be sure to make videos when Crisis Part 2 comes out, sometime later in 2024. But as you've seen in Part 1, she is a pretty big character, and she was introduced in Legion with the purpose for her to be a big character in these Crisis films. And so people have got to know her, fans have got to know her, and I think everyone is super into the idea of Meg potentially being the live action Supergirl in the DCU. It just makes a lot of sense just because she's already played her, and James Gunn has talked about how animated characters could potentially translate to live action. Yes, this Crisis isn't necessarily linked to the DCU, so maybe it doesn't make the most sense, but I think people wouldn't complain if Meg showed up as Supergirl, because people would like to see that kind of continuity, even if it isn't the exact same version of Supergirl. But yeah, so she's going to be in Part 2. This is a couple of quotes to do with Meg playing Supergirl in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. So if we had a couple more movies, we could have had Supergirl in before we get to Crisis. It would have been good, said executive producer Butch Lukic. And ultimately, I think it's all worked out. Centrally, she is part of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and in Part 2, she definitely gets a bigger role in the movie than the first one. So I'm definitely looking forward to Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. We're going to see more Supergirl, and that is the executive producer teasing that she's definitely going to play a bigger role in Part 2. And I mean, she was introduced for this film series. So yeah, looking forward to this, and let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about all of this that we talked about in the video? Are you excited to see The Girls on the Bus releasing in March 2024? You'll see our first look at Melissa sometime soon. They've released a couple of photos and bits and pieces, but there's been no trailer so far, so be on the lookout for that very soon. And we'll see if Meg actually plays Supergirl, but she's got the support of the Crisis on Infinite Earths and Legion of Superheroes team behind her, saying that she would do a good job in live action and they would like to see her. But for now, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Remember, you can enter the raffle by following the details in the description below. This is to enter a DC mystery box raffle, which I'm going to be sending to one of you guys that is picked out. So for now, click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.